Hey guys, I'm Don. This is Rockin' the Country. Welcome aboard. I am doing a follow-up song to Harry Chapin's Taxi, which I did a while ago with Liv. And Liv is not available to do this with me now. She's a very busy girl. So I'm doing the sequel. A lot of folks requested it, that I suggested this, but the names that I had originally written down were Randy Torres, Ken Trosper, Mike Barnett, and there were a bunch of others. So anyway, shout out to all the folks who requested it. But let's just get into this. The sequel to Taxi. Here we go.
So here she's acting happy inside her handsome home. And me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned.
Yeah, the dreams didn't work out.
I got into town a little early, had 8 hours to kill before the show. First I thought about heading up north of the bay, then I knew where I had to go. I thought about taking a limousine, or at least a fancy car, but I ended up taking a taxi, 'cause that's how I got this far.
Wait, all right, so was the taxi thing like a... Fascinating. Because now what the assumption to be made here is that he made it as an artist and now he's got money since being the taxi driver. And should he show it off to her or not? But it's interesting because when he wrote Taxi, he was already an artist, but maybe he was a starving artist at the time when he let Taxi out. Huh.
You see, 10 years ago it was the front seat, driving stoned and feeling no pain. Now here I am straight and sitting in the back, hitting 16 Parkside Lane.
Yep.
The driveway was the same as I remembered, and a butler came and answered the door. He just shook his head when I asked for her and said she doesn't live here anymore.
Oh yeah.
But he offered to give me the address that they were forwarding our letters to. I just took it and returned to the cabbie and said, I got one more fare for you.
Not far away.
And so we rolled back into the city, up to a 5-story old brownstone. I rang the bell, it had her name on the mailbox. The buzzer said somebody's home.
I buzzed in.
On her face as she opened the door was like an old joke told by a friend. It'd taken 10 more years, but she'd found her smile, and I watched the corners start to bend. And she said, how are you, Harry? Haven't we played this scene before? I said, it's so good to see you, Sue. Had to play it out just once more. Play it out just once more.
An opera.
She said, I've heard you flying high on my radio. I answered, it's not all it seems. That's when she laughed and she said, it's better sometimes when we don't get to touch our dreams.
Oh. Touch our dreams.
That's when I asked her, where was that actress? She said that was somebody else. And then I asked her why she looked so happy now. She said, I finally like myself.
Yeah.
Last I like myself.
You gotta know yourself.
So we talked all through that afternoon, talking about where we'd been. We talked of the tiny difference between ending and starting to begin. We talked 'cause talking tells you things like what you really are thinking about. But sometimes you can't find what you're feeling till all the words run out. So I asked her to come to the concert. She said no, I work at night. I said we gotten too damn good at leaving Sue. She said, Harry, you're right. Don't ask me if I made love to her or which one of us started to cry. Don't ask me why she wouldn't take the money that I left. If I answered it all, I'd lie. So I thought about her as I sang that night, and of how the circle keeps rolling around. How I act as I'm facing the footlights, and how she's flying with both feet on the ground. I guess it's the sequel to our story from the journey between heaven and hell, with half the time thinking of what might have been, and half thinking just as well. I guess only time will
Oh, what was that sound in the end? That sometimes the line between fiction and nonfiction can be so tough to tell. And sometimes like when you'll see in a movie, it'll say based on a true story. So there are elements of it that were true, and other elements that were embellished or added just for the sake of telling a better story or a different story. And sometimes you cannot tell. And this is one of these things where it seems absolutely like this is a true story. But a good songwriter, and whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction, whether it's a book or a song, it's still the same thing. Just one happens to have its bearings in reality. The other has its bearings in possible reality. It can be difficult to tell. But there were some really good lines in here that I'm like, oh, that's a good line. Like, she's flying with her feet on the ground. It's because she loves herself now or likes herself. She found out who she was, and sometimes it's better that we can't touch our dreams. It's like, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it type of thing. And sure, we think when we're young, we want a given thing. And then you get it, and you work for it, and then it's not what you thought it was. I know, a friend of mine was a lawyer at a successful, legal practice, and after 10 years he sold it. He hated it, and he moved up to Boston and taught law, I guess, but he didn't like defending people he knew were bad news. And he just got sick of it. So all that said, just be careful what you dream for, be careful what you work for. Because it may not be what you want. You might like the idea of it more than the thing itself. And that's the same thing in relationships. Some people like the idea of what the person they love, or they're going to marry, let's say, what they could become. But what's the expression like? Expectations are disappointments under expectations are resentments under construction. So you have this idea of what the person could be, but you're not seeing them for who they are. And sometimes that right back at yourself. You might like the idea of what you could be, but it may not be you. And in fact, that is what my book, Through Lines, is about. That is what the personality test that I just finished the first prototype of it yesterday is about. It's about finding the real you. And you don't know who that person is until a little bit later in life, and you've had experience with it. And in the context of this song, she found herself, he found success, but he maintained a sense of himself. And it was great. They were both flying and in their own way. So, all right, what am I going to rate? All right, I'm going to rate this song. I don't remember what Liv and I rated the first one. I know it was over a 9. I'm absolutely sure of that with Taxi. The number that popped into my head on this was a 9.4. I didn't know where it was going. Sometimes I could predict, but not exactly. On any line could I predict exactly where it was going. But yeah, I mean, it was just very different. So I'm just going to leave this as a regular reaction, not one that goes in the Country Heart series. I'll just leave it as is. So, all right, folks, have at it. Have a great day, and I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.